What's going on, everyone? Dwight Howard. He's the guy that time and time again you see many in Lakers Nation screaming to get back, bring him back to the Lakers. The Lakers obviously need another big man, but he's a guy that is a real question mark for the Lakers. Now, I don't hate the idea of bringing him back. I just think that there are better alternatives out there. He's been playing in Taiwan, and in Taiwan, he put up decent stats, right? But again, competition. The height advantage, the size advantage, stuff like that. There's a lot that goes into that. It's not as straightforward as like if he was playing in some, in some Euro league that's, one of the top leagues or something like that, and he was putting up, 23 and 20, then it's like, all right, like, hang on a second, right? But he went out there to get the paycheck, to continue to play basketball, to continue his conditioning, all that stuff. But there's a big difference between playing in a league like that and playing in actual NBA games and NBA minutes. And there's a real question mark of what can Dwight Howard provide for the Lakers. Now, Dwight Howard has made it clear that he wants to come back, that he would love to come back to the Lakers, that he never really wanted to be and leave the Lakers and go to Taiwan, but he wanted a more stable contract. He wanted a more long-term deal, even at a vet minimum. Lakers weren't really interested in doing that, primarily because, there was the question marks of his locker room just presence the previous year and his character. I mean, he's sitting there fighting with Anthony Davis on the bench and all this stuff. It just wasn't a good look. So the Lakers were kind of like, let's try to rehash this. We'll give you a prove-it deal. If it works out, then cool, we'll bring you back. Kind of just continue to give him one-and-ones. And he wanted more long-term. Problem is, 37 years old, right? So that's the question. Is he willing to come back to the Lakers and take a one-year vet minimum deal, right? Because if he's trying to come in here and he wants to get paid till he's 40, it makes no sense for the Lakers. When there's other guys out there, at that point, go hit up Hassan Whiteside. Go bring in DeMarcus Cousins, right? There's other guys out there who, one, are younger, two, can do a little bit more at this point in their careers, and three, won't be the hey, I need to get paid this, that, and the other, right? Like luckily, the Taiwan league doesn't want to pay him, right? Dwight Howard came out and was all upset because they tried to pay him basically 60% less than what he was actually paid because of character issues. That's why. He didn't take it serious. He wasn't there, playing real meaningful basketball. He was out there goofing around, acting like it was just a big show, and like to him it was. But to that league, it wasn't. To that league, they thought they were getting Dwight Howard, the superstar that can come in and really kind of, help that league and be a guy that can play some basketball for fans to enjoy. And he just didn't. He just didn't give that. So do the Lakers really want to bring him in with that? Like, he couldn't even make it work in Taiwan. The last stint with the Lakers just didn't go well. And now what? You're going to hope that this time it does? Now, look, Dwight Howard was part of that 2020 team. He has chemistry built in already. Him and Anthony Davis, we know works and can play side by side. We've seen it work. We've seen it played side by side. Dwight Howard isn't going to come in and be asked to play 30 minutes a game or anything like that, right? If he does get signed, he's coming in to probably play 10 minutes a game and just fill in spots, right? He's going to have games where he has DNPs. He's going to have games where maybe he plays 30 minutes, right? Anthony Davis takes the night off and it's just him and Jackson Hayes. So maybe the Lakers start him or start Hayes and he's, playing 20 minutes off the bench or whatever, right? There's going to be nights where, hey, tonight you're not playing. Tonight you're playing 10 minutes. Tonight you're playing 30 minutes. If he's willing to buy in that and he's willing to make that impact, I don't think it's the worst thing ever. But here's the thing. Do you want the locker room concerns of Dwight Howard rubbing off on the young guys? The 2020 roster had, it absolutely had some young guys and like Kyle Kuzma and stuff, but for the most part, that roster was older. You had guys like Rondo on that roster. You had Avery Bradley, right? You had Danny Green. You had a majority of your roster was older and weren't as impressionable as some of these younger guys, right? As like, say, a Jackson Hayes. There's already question marks about Jackson Hayes and his locker room and character issues. Do you really want to bring in a Dwight Howard that's out here just not taking things serious and you're trying to win NBA championships and you're looking for him to be a vet guy that can come in and kind of play guidance. I don't think Dwight Howard is the right guy for that. Look, if the Lakers bring back Dwight Howard, I'm not going to be upset or furious or anything like that. But Dwight Howard's even dealing with issues right now. He's being sued for assault and battery, right? Like, again, it's alleged, who knows, but it goes into that whole, like, just character issues, character concerns, right? And now you want to bring in a guy who is allegedly assaulted and battered somebody, and it's like, it's just, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. You know, like, this isn't Dwight Howard from even 5 years ago. If it was, sure, absolutely. But I don't think Dwight Howard is going to come in and necessarily be the guy that you need or want him to be. I don't, like, he would be great against the Jokic's of the world. He would be great in moments, but even his last stint with the Lakers, he wasn't very good. He was a lot slower. He wasn't as athletic. He was campaigning to be the league leader in technicals. He was getting all kinds of flagrant fouls. He was almost fouling out on a regular basis per 30 minutes. Like, he was hurting the Lakers more than he was helping the Lakers. Now, to defend him, to advocate for the other side, that last stint was just terrible all around, right? That was the year that, we had Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony and Dwight Howard, and, we had the old man roster, right? And so, I mean, could it have just been the environment? Because, again, in 2020, he was really good for the Lakers. He was a guy that bought in and accepted his role, and, nights that he didn't play, he was all right, no problem. Nights that he played 10 minutes, all right, no problem. Like, if he's willing to come back and kind of get back to being that 2020 Dwight Howard, then sure. A guy that's just doing the dirty work, doing the hustle plays, all that stuff, sure. But I still have him personally at, like, the bottom of the list of options that I want to see, right? Like, if all other options are exhausted, then sure. Now, if the Lakers got, say, Christian Wood, right, and then you want to bring in Dwight Howard, sure. Concerns about character issues with both of them, and Christian Wood and Dwight Howard might not be the best, examples for each other, but at that point, okay, because Christian Wood is better at the 4, right? He can play the 5, but he's not really a center. He's more of a power forward. But you can run Christian Wood majority throughout the season and get away with it. And then come playoffs, certain matchups, you can run him at the 5 and get away with it. And then you could just kind of have Dwight Howard as your bruiser off the bench, where it's like, hey, you're going to come in, you're going to play, 5 minutes a game. We're playing Denver, and we want you to just make things difficult for Jokic, right? Hit him, give good hard fouls. Nothing crazy. Good playoff basketball fouls, right? We all know what those are. We know the difference between a hard playoff foul and just flagrant, blatantly trying to hurt someone. I'm not saying something like that. I'm saying, like, good old-fashioned, here's a playoff-style foul. Just bang with him, get physical with him, make things tough on him, and just try to wear him down. I'm okay with that, right? But if he's the guy that's coming in as our 15th roster spot, he's the center that is basically the guy that's coming in to play a significant role in significant minutes. No, I don't. I'd rather, even though Bismack Biyombo's undersized, I'd still rather that, right? Like, again, if he's our 15th guy, sure. If he's the guy that's coming in as, like, our 4th big, especially if they want to play Anthony Davis at the 4 more, right? So even if they do get Biz, right, if you want to go get Dwight Howard, sure. Right? Like, because especially if you're going to play AD more at the 4, that opens up basically spots at the 5, and now you have... See, that's why I think if you get Christian Wood, it makes more sense to get Dwight Howard. Because the games that Anthony Davis doesn't play, you can just move Wood to the 4 And then now you have Hayes and Dwight Howard as like the starting and backup center, right? But if you got somebody like Bismack Biyombo, Dwight Howard doesn't really make a lot of sense at that point, because if Anthony Davis is out, then you still are in the same boat. You don't really have the flexibility at the center position. You're still running the same. You still have to play Hayes and Biz at the center spot, right? But again, if you get a guy like Christian Wood who's flexible and can play the 4 or the 5, well, then now you could bring in Dwight Howard. He makes a little more sense. Again, I don't hate it, but I'm not like sold on it. It's not something that like I want to happen. If it does, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to be upset about it. Sure. All right. But I'd rather the Lakers find another option personally. But those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Do you agree? Disagree? Somewhere in between? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments.